Today, the Supreme Court took up a case that could decide how quickly President Trump can get his second-term agenda off the ground.
The justices are hearing arguments about the ability for a single judge to block a policy for the entire country. The specific case in question is about rulings that have blocked Trump's attempt to end birthright citizenship. We saw protests over that protection outside of the Supreme Court this morning.
Our digital investigative reporter Jordan Fisher was at the Supreme Court all day, and he's here now to give us some context in the way only Jordan can. So, Jordan, we know this case is fundamentally about who gets to be an American citizen, but that's not what today's hearing was about. So can you talk to us and really explain what the Supreme Court decided and why they decided to take this up now, I should say?
Right. I think this is about an issue that's really been bubbling up for years, and it has sort of come to a head here in the first few months of the Trump administration, and that's whether individual federal judges can impose what are called national or universal injunctions. That's an order that bars the federal government across the entire country from doing something, in this case, executing President Trump's order to deny citizenship documents to children whose parents are not necessarily in the country legally or permanently. Now, this is an issue that's gotten bipartisan criticism over the last several years. Increasingly, from the Trump administration's perspective, why they sought this emergency order is they say it's imperative for President Trump's agenda to constrain these judges.
Now, some of the justices really seem to be kind of wrestling here with how much power judges should have with these injunctions. You know, what are some of the concerns here?
Right. On the anti-national injunction side, you have allegations, and again, bipartisan, including from Justice Elena Kagan, who's a member of the court's liberal wing, that it encourages forum shopping, and that's where plaintiffs, including the government, will go to courts that they perceive as being friendlier, and they'll file them, she said, during the first Trump administration, plaintiffs would go to San Francisco to file their cases. When Joe Biden took office, they would go to Texas to file their cases. Now, on the other side, the plaintiffs in this case say that if the Supreme Court allows this executive order to go into effect in some parts of the country, it will create a patchwork effect in which you could potentially be born in New Jersey and a citizen, cross over and come to Virginia, not a citizen, and vice versa. It would really create chaos on the ground. That's how they put it.
Yeah, it sounds like it. So, Jordan, you were there, you heard the justices, you read their body language. Did you get a sense of what the court might ultimately do?
Yeah, this is kind of an unusual vehicle for this question to get to the case because the underlying issues are so far away from the question at hand. There's certainly, I think, a majority on the court who wants to do and feels that they should do something about national injunctions, should say something about national injunctions. Now, what that will be is the question. Justice Clarence Thomas has been on record as saying he thinks that they should be thrown out altogether. He's called them historically dubious. On the other hand, you have, justices who seem to suggest today that there could be a test, there could be some limitations. Justice Kavanaugh has suggested that maybe class action lawsuits are the way to go here. It does appear that the Supreme Court is going to do something. What that is, we're going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, some of the court's conservative justices, as you highlighted, really called for that crackdown on the nationwide injunctions. I know you'll continue to watch this for us. We appreciate it. Digital investigative reporter Jordan Fisher, thanks for your reporting.